Hi everyone, my name's Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. Today I'm going to share with you how to create these really cute Scalloped Tag Topper treat holders. I've been seeing them everywhere on the internet, and so I thought I'd share a couple of versions with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. One's a St. Patrick's Day and one is a friendship. And so I'll create both of them for you since they're so quick and easy to make. And then on the inside I have a couple of Hershey nuggets, and I picked the gold one just because it's March and green and gold looks so awesome together. So let's go ahead and figure out what we need. We need a 2 by 8 inch piece of gumball green paper. Now this is the textured paper, but the regular gumball green paper would work as well. You'll want to score it at 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. And I am going to use 2 pieces because we're going to create 2 of these treat holders at one time. So again, I've got them 2 by 8 scored at 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. And then because the paper is lightweight enough, and this is a real heavy duty punch, we are just going to insert it in here and punch both at the same time. So there's the first punch, and here is the second. So now all we need to do is fold these lines that we have pre-scored, and we have our base for our treat holder. Now to decorate it, to create the St. Patrick's Day theme, I will take one of Stampin' Up's extra large oval punches. I'm going to punch a very vanilla oval from that extra large oval punch. I'm going to use some glue, and that will be glued directly onto the front of my tag like this. Let me see if I can get that nice and even. Then I have some gold glimmer paper, and I have used our scallop oval punch and punched out a scallop oval from a piece of scrap gold glimmer. And this one is going to be glued directly on top of that oval like this. And then the finishing touch for this particular tag is we need a piece of pistachio pudding paper, just a scrap, and I have the stamp set called Teeny Tiny Wishes, and I'm going to use the one that says Happy St. Patrick's Day. So I'm just going to ink that up in gumball green ink, stamp it on my scrap, and then I'm going to take the large oval punch from Stampin' Up, and we're just going to punch that oval piece out. Now that gets put on with dimensionals, so I'm going to flip this over, add a couple of dimensionals here to the back, and then we're going to adhere this to our scallop glimmer oval like this. So our tag treat holder is already decorated for the St. Patty's Day treat. So we'll set this aside, and now we'll decorate the friendship one. So we're going to start with some glimmer paper from Stampin' Up, and it's cut 3/4 of an inch, and then I just have a strip here at 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to put glue across the center of this tag, and I'm going to set my glimmer paper right over the top of the glue, and then I'm going to flip it over and trim that even with the edge with my scissors. And that is the base for our next decorative tag. So then the next thing to do is to get a piece of oval scrap paper, or I'm sorry, very vanilla scrap paper, and we're going to use the 1 3/8 inch circle punch. Looks like this. I'm just going to punch that out, and that's going to be the base that we're going to build our friendship tag. And I'm going to adhere this with glue dots because of the glimmer paper. So I've got my glue dots right here. I'm just going to put one at the top, one at the bottom, and then one on each of the sides. We'll make sure this is quite secure. And then we're just going to set this in the middle and press down. Now the next thing to do is to take our 1 1/4 inch scallop circle punch, and using a piece of gold glimmer scrap, punch that out, and then this gets glued directly onto this vanilla circle. And now, grabbing our vanilla scrap again, we're going to take a stamp, and it's from Notable Notions. We're going to use this one right here. It says, "The Best Forever of Friends." And we're going to ink that up in Gumball Green and just stamp that down. And then using a 1-inch circle punch, we're going to punch this out like that. Then we're going to add a couple of dimensionals to the back. Actually, we only need one. We'll just put one dimensional right in the center, peel that off, and we'll add it to our scallop circle. And now we have this tag decorated. Isn't it cute? So we have both of our tags decorated, and now we just need to fill them with treats. So I have some Hershey nuggets, and I've already put a glue dot on each of them. So we're just going to open this up and set our nuggets right down onto the base, the centers of our tags. These are so cute. I could just see doing this for so many different occasions throughout the year. And it would just be such a cute way to even do table favors with names on instead of occasions. And then, so we've got our nuggets on, and now the last step is to take 14 inches of actually 14 inches of vanilla seam binding ribbon, but you could use any kind of ribbon or cording or baker's twine or anything you wanted to tie this up. And depending on the material that you use, it could go shorter or longer, depending on what your preference is. But I wanted a big, fluffy, kind of loose looking bow. And I'm not going to be too particular. I think that turned out cute. And then we're just going to trim up these edges. And we have one done. There's our patty. And then we're going to take another one here for this particular one. And again, this is 14 inches of our vanilla seam binding ribbon. I just thought that looked good with the vanilla paper that we were using. Kind of accentuates that. And we're doing our bow nice and loose. See, you want to have something look whimsical. That's what I always say. If your bow doesn't turn out perfect, it's a whimsical looking bow, and then everybody's okay with it. So we're going to trim this one up as well. And there you have it. 2 darling treat favors. Have a great day, and thanks so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. If you need to order anything, just go by my blog, www.stampingtoshare.com, and I can certainly help you out with your Stampin' Up! Needs. Have a great day. Bye-bye.